do you really know who you are working with? More importantly than that, do you know how that affects your real estate journey, which is truly the number one way to make like incredible finances, especially here in Southern California? So today, what I want to start doing with our time is not only educating our clients and our friends and family about who we are working with, but also how who we are working with influences you and can bring the greatest good to you. So we are starting with one of our newest agents here at Jag Real Estate Lifestyle. Her name is Sonia Sullivan. And Sonia is here to tell you a little bit about her real estate story and her journey in life and how it's made her not only a better person, but a better agent, and how it's made her really deliver incredible service to her clients. So welcome, Sonia.
Thank you.
Sonia, you've really helped me out a lot recently, kind of diving into how my connections to my emotions within not only my personal life, but my business life can be transmutated into more than just emotion, really pulled into my success story, the success story for my clients, and so on and so forth. So one of the first questions I want to ask you is, how do you feel that emotions affect the real estate journey?
Our emotions are everything. And my journey lately, and I've shared this with you, I had to work on my emotions and learn how to regulate my own nervous system, as everything that happens in the background really influences how we do life, how we make decisions. So in real estate, a lot of times that's one of our biggest purchases of a lifetime. And there's all these limiting beliefs that go in the background that really impact how we proceed. And a lot of times it's our scarcity mind. Myself being an immigrant and a refugee from Bosnia, that was a big hurdle that I had to get through to be where I am today. I bought my first condo back in 2010 when I moved here from Ohio. And that was very scary because I come from a market where single family homes were $90,000 and my condo in Mission Gorge was $215,000. And that was mind blowing for my friends and family. Like, what are you thinking? Like, you're going to spend that much money on a condo? But then down the road, I made over $200,000 on that condo. And I was able to buy a condo then in Pacific Beach. And that's where I live today. So yes, emotions are very, very important, and understanding them and being able to ground them so that we can get clarity and move with purpose.
I really like the part where you just said that we have to move with clarity, use our emotions, move with clarity. And then I think, what was the last part of that you said?
Confidence, maybe?
Confident, maybe confidence too. Yeah, it's hard when you're on camera sometimes to find all of the right confidence in this. But yeah, so emotions are a really big part of that. And Sonia talked to us a little bit just now about how her personal story over her lifetime has influenced her to really get to a point where she doesn't let her emotions overwhelm her when she's making decisions. One of the things that I wanted to ask Sonia about today is something that has been occurring here recently in the financial market. There's been some rumors and words on the street that the government is getting ready to print money. And when Sonia and I were talking earlier, I said, hey, what do you think about this word that the government's getting ready to print money? And so, Sonia, tell us a little bit about how you think that can influence real estate.
I really think it's time for our buyers to act now, because the longer they wait and the more of this money gets printed, the more their money now is going to lose value. It's going to depreciate and their buying power is going to go down. We're still in this sweet spot where buyers have an opportunity to negotiate and get sellers to help them with some credits, buying down interest rates, closing costs, in different ways that can help them.
Yeah, and the closing costs and the interest rates and all of that stuff, I feel like it gives people an overwhelming feeling. And since we're talking about emotions, one of the things that I know for my personal life, I come up with some really great ideas for things that I want to do. And then I'm like, oh, I might not have time to get that started right now, because in my mind, I'm a perfectionist. Yeah. Like, I want things to come across the right way. Yeah. Like, for instance, I've been wanting to start a podcast forever, and then I see people in the industry who are doing the same thing, but they're starting from a place of maybe they don't know the answers, maybe they don't have the solutions, but they know it's just the right time to start.
Absolutely. Yeah, these conversations are important. If we wait for perfection and if we wait to have all of our ducks in a row to go buy our first property, we might never get there. We might be continuously chasing the market. Do we have the myth of 20% down? Is the interest rate perfect? Do I have the location figured out? A lot of people also believe that you need two incomes. I've helped clients who waited until they got married and they had two incomes. And then when they look back, like, wow, my friend bought and he had roommates that helped him pay mortgage. So-and-so bought with his business partner. There's ways that we can start that journey without that perfection. And then the next property might be that next step where we feel a little bit more prepared. But if we don't start, we'll always be behind.
Yeah.
Especially in Southern California.
You have to start. And I think the sticker shock of real estate for a lot of people is they see how much something costs online, because a lot of people look. I know a lot of people look. A lot of people that don't have any money at all look, because generationally we have been taught that real estate is really one of the biggest accomplishments of your life. Like, I just bought a place, you know, and with everything that's going on with the colleges and how expensive it is to get into a college, how much student loans there are, you know, and all of these things that the new generation is facing, the entry point for real estate, the age has changed. It's more around 40 years old, which when I was 30, which was only about 10 years ago, the entry point was more around 30. So what we're seeing is a lot of people keep waiting, and they're waiting for the right moment, or they're waiting for the right time. And then it just kind of never happens.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think I was 27 when I bought my first condo. And again, that was very scary. I ended up staying in it for about 8 years. My dream and my goal was to get to Pacific Beach. Like, a lot of my friends were here. I used to manage a credit union in Santee. So any free time I had, I would drive over here, hop on my bike, which I kept in my friend's house, and then bike the boardwalk and around the bay. And the dream was to own in PB one day. But the condo that I had was kind of like my safety. I felt comfortable. I felt confident with that mortgage payment. That was back, the interest rates were low and my HOA was affordable, but I knew I needed to make that jump. And I would tell my friends, I had to climb mountains and swim the seas to get to San Diego. Now I have 13 miles to get to Pacific Beach. I'm almost at my dream point. And, unfortunately, it took breast cancer to give me that courage to make that, first leap of faith, because it changed my perspective and had me realize that no tomorrow is guaranteed. And then I looked in my life and I realized, how do I want to live the rest of my life? Not knowing how many tomorrows I have, how do I want my days to look like? I want to be by the ocean. And that was such a blessing that I had the courage. First of all, when I sold my condo, the money that I made helped me with all the alternative treatments that my insurance wasn't covering. The other thing, when I finally decided, had enough courage to go with traditional treatments and chemo and radiation, the ocean is what kept me sane. Just walking, and you walk with me, just walking by the ocean when we have so much going on, I was able to calm my nervous system. I was able to get clarity and gain strength and courage to show up for the next treatment. So if I didn't have and again, I said unfortunately, and I hope for our buyers and people that are thinking about it, they don't wait for such a life-altering event in their life, something drastic to happen before they make that decision. It doesn't have to be fear. It doesn't have to be scarcity. We can actually show up with joy and keep that dream alive and go forward with it.
So I am going to wrap up just this part here with Sonia about buyers, and then I want us to move over into sellers a little bit. But there's something that you said there that I read a lot because I do some journaling and stuff. You know, sometimes I do a lot. Sometimes I skip a couple years, but I'm back on my track right now. And one of my favorite quotes has always been, everything you want is on the other side of fear. And you have to get started at some point. Well, we have a special guest that wants to be in our video real quick. Come here, Mia. She had her toy. So Mia's going to sit with us for a minute. And we are going to talk a little bit about navigating the fear.
Yeah.
Navigating the fear. But I want you to put it from the point of like a seller's point of view. Like, what might be some of the things that sellers may be fearing in the current market? Because we know that the market has changed tremendously. sellers are not getting premiums like they used to for their properties, specifically with condos right now. What are some of the fears that a seller might have?
You know what I'm seeing with sellers? Because we just got out of that crazy sellers market that we had during COVID and the last few years, a lot of them might have not adjusted to realize where the market is now. So they come with these high expectations and what they think their place should sell for. Especially if there's not a lot of recent comps and they're looking back what their neighbor sold, I don't know, back in 2021 or 2023, and they're thinking that's what they can sell it for. Not listening to their agent and really reading and understanding the data where we are. And then those properties end up sitting on the market for a little too long. And then the buyers start having these ideas that something's wrong with the property.
Yes.
But working with professionals like we are at Jag Real Estate, we have all the right tools. We can educate and we can show the data. We can stage the property. We can understand what kind of buyer would be interested in that. Because every property is unique. And what I love to do is tell a story about the property. Just like all of us have a story, each property has a story. And then the sellers have so many emotions. I've worked with sellers who can't even declutter because mom kept all the cards from elementary school and all the kids' arts and she just can't part with it. That makes it really hard. That makes it hard to create a vision for the new buyer that's going to walk in and try to see themselves in that property. So what I love to do is, sit down and understand the seller and their story and also understand that they have a vision for the future. Because if they haven't created what's their next step, they're still going to be attached to their property and they're really going to have a hard time letting go and understanding the current market.
Yeah. And letting go is a part of the current market as well, because you also have to let go of what you think you may know about the current market. I find that one of the biggest mistakes that sellers make is not assuming what is happening right now. Like they probably remember, oh, well, my neighbor sold their house a month ago for $450, sold their condo for $450. I'm pretty sure I can get $450. And I was like, okay, last month was, the finality of the fall market. We're walking into winter market right now. Sure, we might be able to get the same thing that seller got, but we need to have a plan. We need to have a strategy, which is basically what you just talked about.
Yeah.
Let's go back to a couple more things that if we could give sellers tips and points. What would be your number one tip for a seller who wants to move up? They want to take, like what you said you did with your condo. Mm-hmm. They want to go from that condo where they're at, maybe a little closer to the city towards the beach. What would be a really good tip for them?
I understand that right now it's scary because even though if they have enough equity sitting in their property, with the interest rates being higher, like if they bought a few years ago when interest rates were 2.6, 2.8, if they go into something, even they carry that amount of equity with a higher interest amount, their payment is going to be higher. So that might be scary and they might be stuck. And even for people that really need to downsize, like their home is now too big for them and they don't have, their lifestyle is different. They don't need that much space. They need a different quality of life. I would suggest move with the clarity and purpose. What do you want from your life? Because rates might go down. We don't want to wait for the rates to drop because then you're going to be competing with everyone else who's waiting. I would say act now. Even if that payment is a little bit higher, definitely don't stretch yourself too much where you are now just living for the house, but find that comfort. And then when the rates drop, refinance because you already have your home and now you're not competing with everyone else.
And I really like what you just said there too about don't wait for what everybody else is doing, because when you get caught in the cycle of whatever everybody else is doing, it kind of goes counterproductive to what some of the biggest financial magnets in the entire world are. One of my old employers, I actually used to fly for his wife. I was his wife's private flight attendant. I don't know if I've ever told you this before. Warren Buffett. And one of the things that Warren Buffett has always said was that if everybody is moving in this direction, you might want to look back at that direction, because a lot of times that herd mentality influences people to do things that are not correct. You've heard it from your parents when you were a child. Don't do what everybody else is doing. You know better. Take a look at what everybody else is doing right now. They are right now, particularly, there are a lot of people putting their houses on the market. They're not doing a good price analysis. They're not looking for that individual buyer. That's one thing that I love that you said was a great idea for sellers. Like, you want to see who the buyer is for that specific house, right? So I love that you said that to sellers. Where do you feel you excel the most in your real estate career?
I feel like my latest part of my journey, and I'm 42 now, so I feel like the first 40 years was research. And now I'm integrating all that information and data in my life experience, and it's really turning into wisdom. And the more I find stillness and peace within myself, I can bring that to the table with my clients. Real estate can be a roller coaster. I've had clients where everything is going smooth, and then last minute, the bank finds out the condo master policy doesn't have the proper coverage, and now they're not willing to proceed. And that's like 2 days before closing. What do you mean? So things like that, where the buyer is freaking out, the seller is freaking out, I am able to hold that steady ground for everyone with clarity. Because what happens when we freak out and we don't know what to do, there's a part of our brain, the part that's the logic part, the frontal cortex, it shuts down. And we start operating from the amygdala, that part that's fight or flight. And then agents are angry, escrow's freaking out. But when we come back together, when you think about it, in real estate transactions, there's so many parts, so many parties, but we all have the same goal. We all want to come to the end. We all want to successfully close. We want to see a happy seller and a happy buyer and start their new stories with either it's going away from the property and starting a new life, or just starting with this property. So I would say my strength is being able to hold everyone's hand and keep calm during the storm.
Keep calm during the storm. Yeah, thank you for holding my hand recently. And so we've had a big year here. 2025 has been a big year for our brokerage. There's been a lot of changes. There's been a lot of things that we've implemented, and we're getting way more involved with the community here in Pacific Beach. And we're very close to Bird Rock, which is basically South La Jolla. So we're kind of in this sweet spot of all of the different price points in San Diego County. You can buy a condo a little bit closer to the interstate, which is I-5, and you can get a really good deal on a 1-bedroom over there, but you're still really in Pacific Beach. You can buy multi-million-dollar houses right up here on the hill in La Jolla. Some of these places overlooking the water. This Pacific Beach area, North Pacific Beach area, has recently become all of our homes. So we come here every day for work, and we love it. Tell us what one of your favorite things about our community is.
The beach, of course. But then the people, really, the lifestyle. People care about our environment. People care about their health. You see people running, walking with their dogs, biking. We have really good schools too. I don't have kids myself, but my friends do, and they rave and talk about how great our schools are, which a lot of times you wouldn't think that. People might have the idea of PB being just this young college beach town partying, but we're a mixture of everything. We really have some cool and fun restaurants. Of course, there's bars and all of that. But also really good, businesses that care. And I'm really excited now that I've joined this office because I live here too. I want to work more with the local businesses. I want to give back more to the community. You and I went to the PP Town Council meeting. That was great, hearing about what's going on and, with our law enforcement and the plans for the city and all of that. So, there's so many great things about our community, and I'm really excited. One of the big reasons why I selected this office is because of the location. Of course, you and the team, but there was another one that was nearby, and this felt like home.
We really want people to feel that. We want people to feel that JAG real estate lifestyle, and our agents are home. We want you to know that we are a boutique real estate brokerage that operates from a higher level of educational standard for our agents, a higher level of service that we're going to give to our clients, and that we are connecting not only within our office with each other and holding each other accountable and helping each other make it through struggles and challenges, because it is a very demanding career.
Yeah.
But this is the vibe that we've created here. And I'm just so grateful for you and so thankful that you're here with us. If you're looking for more information on Sonia, you can feel free to send us a private message, like or comment on our subscriptions here. And we're looking forward to seeing you guys the next time around. Thank you for joining us.